From all the suffering Muslims in the world and all the Muslims suffering across the globe, today I want to tell you all about the crisis in Yemen. The United Nations have said that Yemen is the worst humanitarian crisis right now on the planet. For the last 5 years, Yemen has been in war. Local groups on the ground are fighting each other, from the Houthis, from the Saudi-led coalition and the government forces. 20 years ago, since 1990, Ali Abdullah Saleh was Yemen's president. In 2011, Yemenis rose up against Saleh in hope for things that might get better due to political issues between the government and the people of Yemen. Saudi, alongside the Gulf Cooperation Council, decided to force Saleh out of his place. They installed a new government in Yemen and put a new president, Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi, in charge. Yemen continued to suffer under the new president. By 2014, some of the Yemen's factions began to lose patience. One of them was the Houthis, one of the major players in the Yemen war, and currently control a large area in Yemen. The Houthis are a Shia minority from northern Yemen. They say that they have been marginalized and often they have rebelled against the government. During the Arab Spring, they were involved in the uprisings against Saleh. But here's where the twist comes. The Houthis and Saleh were both sidelined by the Gulf Cooperation Council's plans for Yemen's new government. So the former enemies joined forces. The Houthis, together with some of Saleh's allies still in the army, took over Yemen's capital Sana'a in 2014. Hadi fled to Saudi Arabia after this, and then Saudi, along with several other countries, formed a coalition to return their man Hadi to power. Saudi said that they had 3 main war aims in Yemen. Firstly, they said they wanted to restore the government of President Hadi. Secondly, they said they wanted to protect their own southern border. And thirdly, they wanted to contain the perceived growing influence of Iran in the region. But the problem is this: the Saudi-led coalition has been airstriking Yemen for the last 5 years, and it has caused a lot of damage to the Yemeni people. From Saudi, there has been 19,000 attacks, and this is a report from 2019. 19,000 attacks in the last 5 years. Saudi-led forces say they've been targeting the enemy, but they've bombed dozens of hospitals and schools, killing thousands of Yemeni civilians, causing so much suffering to the Muslims of Yemen. Poor innocent men, children and women who have suffered because Saudi has gone around bombing people in Yemen, claiming that they're targeting the enemy. It's not just the fighting though that's causing the suffering in Yemen. Even aid is being used as a weapon. In 2015, the Saudi-led coalition created a land, sea and air barrier around Yemen, making it almost impossible for supplies to get in or out. The Houthis are also blamed for blocking, destroying or taking aid from the aid that is coming into the country. This is making it even a bigger problem, and the people of Yemen are in need of so much medical support in terms of food, in terms of all of these things, and they're not being able to get it because of what Saudi did in 2015, making the suffering and the crisis even more in Yemen. In a country of 29 million people, the UN says 24 million people depend on some kind of humanitarian help. That's a lot of people, and not enough are getting humanitarian help. Now back to the fighting, which is causing a lot of suffering alongside the aid that is being restricted in Yemen. The Houthis and Saleh alliance broke down in 2017 after they fought Saudi-led forces for 3 years. In fact, Saleh switched sides on TV, saying he wanted to talk to the Saudi-led coalition. 2 days later, the Houthis killed him. Today, the Houthis still control Yemen's capital Sana'a, and for now they have an upper hand in the war. But Saudi Arabia thinks it's because they're getting help from Iran. Now, as the biggest Shia power in the region, Iran has openly supported the Houthis but denies backing them militarily. But Saudi Arabia and other countries insist Iran does have a hand in the fighting, from different sources of where the Houthis have claimed to have done certain things, for example destroying oil sources, but it seems that these are Iranian military weapons being used and being supplied to the Houthis. So don't ignore the suffering in Yemen. Yemen has been suffering since 2014 and it has been an ongoing crisis. The people of Yemen are going through so much suffering, and I'm sure all of you are aware because every one of you uses social media, and in the modern day and age, news is spread everywhere. Please make dua for your brothers and sisters in Yemen, and don't forget them, inshallah bi'idhnillah.